We're gonna do a tag video today. For some reason, been really just like wanting to watch these videos, and I see a couple of creators that I really like allieglinesor, like Batty Bean, doing a couple tag videos, and I'm like, yes. And it made me go back and look at people's old tag videos, and I was like, I want to participate. So I'm gonna participate. I have chosen the allieglinesor 21 questions tag to answer about makeup, my journey with it. Yes, let's do some self-exploration. Let's go. Self-exploration. That was very hard for me to get out. So question number 1, what is the oldest makeup product in your collection? And do I know what that is? Yes, I do. This is my little keepsake box, but I put a bunch of keepsake makeup items in here. And the two immediately, when I looked at this question, I was like, oh, it's these two from MAC. I don't know if you can see, but like, sorry, this is crusty, but it's very old. These are the original MAC like twist off packages, or components, I should say. This is an eyeshadow, and they still carry this color today. This is a color called, and I've never known how to pronounce this actually. It's called H-A-U-X. It's not hoax, because hoax is H-O-A-X. Yeah, H-O-A-X. I don't know, like the plural of like haute, like haute couture. I don't know how to pronounce this. And so somebody at MAC, please tell me what this is. Erin Parsons, where are you? But they still carry this eyeshadow today. It's like a mid-tone sort of brownie matte plum. So when the MAC counter first opened in my hometown, I was 15 and they came to the Macy's. My mom worked at the Macy's at a different cosmetics counter, and they did something that I thought was really cool, which is they held like a class for all of the other people working at all of the other makeup counters, and like taught them about what the line is, what it could provide. If your customers were looking for a particular thing that you didn't have, then you could send them over to MAC, and then they gave them goodie bags. And my mom, she was always so lit for this. I always got free stuff. She got an extra bag for me, and in the goodie bag was this eyeshadow. We're gonna say this the label has completely scratched off, but it was a multi-use product. My mom was like so gassed to tell me about it. She was like, you can use it on your cheeks and your eyes and everything like that. It is a powder called Symmetry, and I wore the hell out of this. This feels like velvet. It's so crazy. Like, I got this like almost 30 years ago. And this is like it's like a multi-use product. I would use this. I was such a 90s kid. Like, I could not stand the thought of any color on my cheeks. I was like, it has to be brown. If anything touches my cheeks, it has to be matte and it has to be brown. So this was totally perfect. And I was like, oh, like every time I put it on, I was like, I'm wearing blush. And so I was like, I am a woman. So this I got in a goodie bag when I was 15. There was a third item in there that I don't have anymore. And it's a lipstick that they don't carry anymore. And it was called, again, I'm not sure how it was pronounced because I couldn't quite see it on the label, but it was either called Lame or Lame. I couldn't see if it had a little accent, but it was this beautiful neutral pink shimmer. And I actually have now discontinued, but I have a lip gloss, like a lip glass from MAC from a limited edition collection called Morning Rose, that to my recollection was like a very similar color. Very similar undertone, but it was a very unusual. So they chose these kind of, 90s colors and finishes for people. But this was the first brand that I felt like, ooh, like this is my own. It's like cool. It was designed for performers. It was used on a bunch of shows for singers, people on stage, fashion shows. I mean, I was obsessed from minute one that I found out about it. I was like, I can't believe that this is in my hometown and that I get to be around this now. So, and then this gets an honorable mention because I think this is right around the same time. It's almost gone, but this is my craft glitter from Michaels. I was in marching band in high school. We would always have these night games to play at the football games and stuff like that. And I would wear glitter every time. This was an idea given to me by a little friend that I had in high school. Her name was Colleen. She would put this on her eyes every time and I was like, what are you doing? Like, what is that? And she was like, oh, it's my craft glitter. I got it from Michael's. You had to get the extra fine, ultra fine, excuse me. You had to get the ultra fine because we ultra fine, but also because it was tiny, tiny, tiny. This was my first foray into glitter for performance. And I still wear glitter or stones, something sparkly for performance every time that I go on stage. And it was really born from this little craft glitter that I would wear at marching band games. Oh gosh. Okay, just dumped everything out that was important to me. All right. But let me know if you want me to go through this and show you other little makeup keepsakes that I have from throughout the years. I would love to go through it. Actually, I might just do it. Question number 2. Wow, that was only question number 1. We got 20 to go. What was my most recent makeup purchase? Actually, I have to go run and get it. My most recent makeup purchase was this Wet n Wild lipstick. I haven't gotten one of these in such a long time. I was door dashing, that's right. I was door dashing something from Walgreens and I was like, you know what? Let me get a little lipstick. Let me get a little something. And I literally just chose this. It looked like an interesting undertone to me. Now it looks like hot peach, but I think it'll work for me. This is the color Never Nude and I literally bought it for the name. I was like, I always love a nude matte lipstick. And I remember loving this formula, even from back in the day. They just changed the packaging, but it's the color Never Nude from Wet n Wild. And I bought it because of Tobias Funke. What is the first makeup product I ever used? I wonder if you remember this too. It's like a deeply 90s product. It had to have been when I was maybe 9 or 10. One of those rolly lip glosses. The lip gloss, you know, I think of it now and I can smell that like artificial strawberry candy scent. It was like a strawberry roll-on lip gloss and they were so oily and they would always like get in my mouth, but I was just like, I'm wearing lip gloss. 4. What is a makeup trend that I used to love but now I hate? I've been like doing and experimenting with makeup since I was probably about 12 years old, like with like real makeup, doing like little tutorials and things or trying to recreate looks that I saw in magazines. So when YouTube came around, I had already given myself many, many years of practice and application, not just on myself, on other people for sure. But you know, YouTube, makeup YouTube is so fascinating and seeing what opinions other people have. And I remember being very enamored with the orange crease and like a turquoise or cool color on the lid. It always ended up being, for me, the looks that I was very drawn to were like an orange crease and like a turquoise lid. And I think about it now and it makes me want to hurl. When I think about this now and I think about the creators that I was watching, if you have very deep set eyes, you already have this kind of built-in shadow. Or if you have a prominent brow bone, you have a built-in shadow over your eyes already. So you're looking to, I don't know about necessarily brightening that area, but like any color that you put in your crease will be defining. It will add definition because of the definition that your bone structure already has. Whereas for me, my features are much softer. Like my eye and my eyebrow are more flush with one another. And on me, it just kind of looks like I got hit in the eye. Like a bright orange doesn't provide any definition, but it was something about that combo of that hot orange and that turquoise on the lid. And I just was like, wow, we're really doing something with makeup and color theory today. And I think about it now and I don't want to think about it. What's a makeup trend that I used to hate, but now I love? That I used to hate? I think probably my attitude on like cosmeceuticals has changed. Like I remember when I started seeing creators that I had watched a lot getting like their lips done, I was like that looks so insane to me. And now it looks, I don't want to say normal, but like now I'm just like, oh, okay, we got a little zhuzh. You know, now I'm like, ooh, as opposed to being like really like, oh, what are we doing to ourselves? I don't know if that's a good thing or not. I definitely don't want to judge people though. There's so much to be upset about. Like, I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to give myself reasons to be upset. Like, I'm much less like shocked if someone has gotten like work done or whatever. I'm just like, oh, I wonder what they did. 6. What is my favorite step in my makeup routine? Ooh, I think that would either be lash line definition, so eyeliner, mascara, or lip liner. I love the defining steps. What's a makeup product that I can't live without? I would say brown lip liner, like a neutral brown lip liner. If all of them had to go away, maybe I would do MAC Stone. It's easy to get. There are many competitors. It's like one of those products that you're like, oh, I love this product. Let me get 5 other things like it. But I think when it comes down to it, MAC Stone is like, you contour your nose with it, contour your face, anything. Lips, give yourself a little beauty mark. MAC Stone. What sparked my love for makeup? Well, my mom worked at a makeup counter since forever, so I think there was some osmosis happening. I was always at the mall after school, just kind of wandering around. I think about it now and I'm like, ooh, I feel so lucky to have like grown up in an old school department store, like that Part and Beston show. We are so lucky to have grown up amongst catalogs. It was like this old school, beautiful department store that my mom worked in, and they had this dark wood restaurant like attached to it. So I would sit in the restaurant at the bar and be doing my homework. I would just wander around in the cosmetics department. Sometimes I would go around to other stores and like, isn't so crazy. Like this is like the early 90s and I was like 8 in the full mall or like in the department store just by myself, just looking at stuff. But I think my imagination really sparked during that time. And I can remember the smell of the perfume department like very vividly. I have a very fond memory of all of those perfumes sort of mixing together, and you would think it would give you like a headache or something, but I remember that very fondly. Like there was like a white diamonds counter too. Elizabeth Taylor white diamonds. Ultima 2. There was a little section for Ultima 2, which is like back in the day. And they had all those nude lipsticks, and I remember thinking that was super cool. But yeah, I think it was sparked there, and then going to the bookstore. I think it was called like art and photography section at the bookstore. I remember my best friend and I would go. She would go to the fiction, and then I would go to like the arts and photography section, and they had a small section of like fashion books, and there were makeup books in there. And I first saw The Art of Makeup by Kevin Aucoin, and I was hooked. It was like all of the dominoes started to fall. I was like, oh my God, glamour is available at your fingertips. It's just like, oh my word. In fact, this was my gateway drug. This copy of The Art of Makeup. I think this book was $35. And I remember seeing it when I was like, I don't know, 12. And I was just like, $35 might as well be $1,000. Like, I'll never see that kind of money. Every time I would go to the bookstore, I would go and just pore over this book. I would look through it. Could not believe what I was seeing. I was just like, the glamour of it all. Absolutely fell in love with Kevin Aucoin and the way he wrote about makeup too. Like his partner at the time that would feature in a lot of his books, Eric Sakas, I believe is how you pronounce it. He has a beautiful Instagram account where he has all of these Polaroids from the time that they worked together and they were together, all of these behind the scenes Polaroids and stories. And it is just the most loving tribute to Kevin Aucoin, who's no longer around, but has left such an incredible and inspiring body of work. And I got this book for Christmas, by the way, in 8th grade. The binding the glue started to crack and go bad. So I took it to FedEx and got it rebound. I got it with the longest. You can see there's still a little space, but now it's just like lays flat. It's like my workbook. It's my dream. So this and them all were the first sparks to the flame of me loving makeup. What's the worst makeup look I've ever done? The first thing that popped to my mind, it was closer to when I started my channel. So I started recording videos in, I think, 2013, and I was like having a little makeup playtime afterwards. I do not know if I could find this picture, and I don't want to go looking for it because I was just like, what did I do? I wanted to have like a creative time where I was like, let me just like try to be like editorial, like a Linda Mason or someone that does like very abstract makeup. And I remember I got out my liquid lipsticks and I was just like mixing colors together, and I was like, I'm just gonna paint. And I started painting on my face, and I was like, what have I done here? It was like, it just felt like the caveman version of like graphic liner, and it was just like streaks painted on. I think I'm just very, I was trying to do shapes and like, and I remember I posed for some pictures and I was just like really giving it, and it was, I looked at the pictures later and I was like, no, I didn't give it. My favorite makeup I've ever done, one that comes to mind, and I do have the picture for this, I think it was, I was sort of trying to take elements of a Violet Chachki look and make it not performance drag and for my face, my features. And I was really proud of that. It was like a big liner look, and I usually go much softer on the liner, the lashes, but it was featuring a red lipstick that I love from the Keith Haring collection from MAC called Red Herring. The lighting was right. I took big chances with like the frost in it. And I really liked it. And at the time I was teaching myself like how to do vintage hairstyles. So I just had it, you know, usually the pinup looks I really, really like. I think they're very successful on my face. What is my favorite drugstore makeup product? Ooh, what do I go to the drugstore for? I think my favorite drugstore product is gonna be the Milani Make It Last Original Setting Spray. When I run out of this, I have to go get another one. I have to have this available. It makes your makeup look incredible. I don't like to use it every day because I think this has alcohol in it, but correct me if I'm wrong, I might, you know. But this is a pretty strong spray, and it makes your makeup last very, very well. It makes your makeup look better and last super well. I do think this is maybe the best setting spray, if not one of the best in my collection. I always have to have this. What's my favorite splurge makeup product? Ooh, I would say, I mean, these were pretty extraordinary to me. These Natasha Denona leather outside, patent leather eyeshadow palettes. I got these on her last restock of these. They're really gorgeous. They're very, very special. They're very special. I bought these when I had a bonus from work. I remember I put them in my backpack after I bought them. I felt so crazy riding on the subway with these. I was like, this is like hundreds of dollars worth of makeup. Like, does anybody know? Can anybody see that I have like all this merchandise on me? I felt so insane. But that really felt like a very special purchase to me. Honorable mention, I got a bunch from Joan Collins Beauty. Joan Collins Timeless Beauty, I believe is what it's called. But like, she has these sort of, like, if you've ever seen a compact like this, if you have seen any vintage compacts, they would have this kind of like empty well to hold your lipsticks. And so she designed a compact that also held the lipsticks that she sells. And I think that's really beautiful. This powder is stunning. I need to do a video on this line because the lipsticks are so beautiful. The products are really beautiful. And she's a makeup girl too. She's like, I think she's 91, 92 at this time. And that woman is a makeup girl. I just have a soft spot in my heart for makeup girls, you know what I mean? It can be any gender, any age you want, but you're a makeup girl, you're a makeup girl. Let's see. My most repurchased makeup product. Ooh. It's either going to be my Trixie Cosmetics First Base Setting Spray. I love this. I love this. I can tell a difference when I haven't used it. I have to have this always. Or the Milani Make It Last Setting Spray. Like, I have to have this. Both of these I have to have on hand. This I run out of faster than this. How many times have I repurchased this? Maybe 4 or 5? This was out of stock for a while because they were redoing the packaging because the sprayer would get stuck. And I was like, I hope they're doing the packaging over because I have to have that spray. I love it. My earliest makeup memory? Gosh. I didn't have those kinds of like the first time I put on my mom's lipstick and I put it all over my face or anything like that. I didn't really have that. My mom always had her own bathroom, number one. She had her own bathroom. Maybe this is my first makeup memory. I remember her makeup would be sort of set up in the corner. She would have like a little train case or medium-sized train case, but the makeup was all spilling out. You know, it was on the corner. It was this angled in this corner like a shrine. And I knew never to touch that. I don't know if I was ever told, probably when I was super little, like don't touch mom's stuff or don't touch her makeup and everything, but I knew that that was sacred. So I never had this like where I was like reaching into her stuff and trying it on. Absolutely not. I was so scared. I was like, she would know. This stuff is probably booby trapped. Like I would never. And my mom is not the kind of like, go get that out of my purse. Never. You would never go through her purse. My mom is old school. To be honest, this is going to sound like, I know how this is going to sound, but I never had a time where I was like bad at makeup. Like I couldn't do the function of it. As soon as I started putting on makeup at home, which was probably when I was about 12, I couldn't go outside in it until I was, I think, 15, actually 14, because I was wearing eyeliner in my 9th grade yearbook photo. I was always like, I knew where it went. I knew what to do with it. I always had a point of view. I knew what I liked. I was always trying to emulate. I think my first makeup memory is like, every time I would go into my mom's bathroom, I'd be like, you're not touching anything. This is sacred. I remember associating it with like something sacred and powerful and communicative, you know? My favorite place to shop for makeup? Before, I think I would have said like Sephora. I just really, especially when I was living in New York, I worked right next to a huge Sephora at Columbus Circle, and I would go in there after work and I would just swatch things on my hands, and it was like my happy hour. I would swatch something sparkly on my hands and it felt like I had a sip of wine. That was like my come down after work, and then I would get on the subway and I would go home. But now I love a MAC counter. I don't have a standalone MAC store, I don't think, anywhere close to where I live, so I love stopping by the mall, going into the MAC counter. Yeah, and I've had a real like resurgence of MAC in my life, and I'm enjoying it. What's the most underrated makeup product that I own? Underrated, I think, is like pencil eyeliner. I feel like there's eyeshadow or there's sparkle on the eyes, and then people go right in with mascara, and I'm like, what about the lash line? And some people, like if you have a deep set eye or if you're very fair, mascara is enough definition for you. But for me, I have, you know, dark hair, dark eyes. I like definition, and I love like a nice pencil right at the lash line, and nobody really gives their lashes that oomph. They just kind of do mascara and put on a lash to give definition, and I'm like, hold on, there's other ways to do it here. I think a nice deep dark pencil liner, or even just like a black liner on the top lid, not the bottom lid, putting it in the waterline but no definition on top but mascara, that is insane to me. Don't do that. A nice defining pencil liner on the top lash, not a winged liner. We're each learning from each other on YouTube, and that can be like an echo chamber of like sometimes bad ideas, sometimes good ideas, or sometimes, you know, but like usually when people say like, oh, I'm not going to put on eyeliner, it's too much, they're talking about like a liquid winged eyeliner, and I'm like, there's so much more. There's so many other ways that you can like define your top lash line. What are we doing? Don't define your bottom lash line and then leave the top one bare. Help. Overrated? Ooh, what's an overrated? Oh, I know. A vastly overrated product in my makeup collection is a makeup sponge. Like, this is not the second coming. Like, it works in some cases, but like, this is a hot take, but I think those really got popular because, you know, we're watching these like beauty gurus or whatever. You're putting like 3 pumps of foundation on your face, huge swaths of concealer and stuff, and it's like, yeah, you need a wet sponge to dab part of it off in order for you to look not like a crazy person outside in the world. You're using a lot of product, then you get this sponge. It's a reusable sponge, sure, but it's not reusable like a brush. The first time I saw one of these and it was like, I don't know, $29 or something, it made me so sad because I was like, you can get a really, really good brush that is gonna last you a decade or more if you take care of it for the same price, but instead you have an eventually disposable sponge. That I still feel like when I use this, but these are 2, I think, from the Nimya blushes, but this is a pack of them for $10. I think that's fine. But I don't like introducing like disposable tools, like if you don't have to. I don't know. What is a discontinued makeup product that I wish would come back? I actually just did a video on this talking about 5 of them, but I have so many. I'll give you kind of a sneak preview, but like I don't mention this color in the video, but I mention this product, and this is the MAC cream color bases. Beautiful texture, beautiful highlighters. This is in the color Pearl, and like you can sheer them out. They just have the most beautiful texture. Oh my God. You can sheer them out. You can put them on your lips, your cheeks, whatever. I have a little bit of shell right at the top of my cheeks here. Just beautiful. Allegedly, MAC only has one color left called Improper Copper, at least in the US, which is too deep and too warm for me to really do anything that I want to do with it. But these are excellent highlighters. They're so beautiful. My favorite of all time is Shell. And these are just out of their stores, and I think it's a criminal act. I think they absolutely need to make a comeback, in my humble opinion. But I have many feelings on so many products that have been discontinued, I think. Where do I get makeup inspiration? Ooh, so many places. I love watching old movies or like period movies and shows. I recently watched, had never seen it. I watched The English Patient. I watched The English Patient. I can't say it. I watched The English Patient. Kristen Scott Thomas. I think they were heavily inspired by like Carole Lombard. Kristen Scott Thomas looked so stunning. Any old movies, and when I say old, I mean anywhere from the 1930s to through the 1990s. Those are really where I get a lot of inspiration, especially movies from like the late 70s, early 80s. I really tend to love those looks. Old beauty books, I have a ton. I have a collection of vintage beauty books, and they're incredible for style inspo. I love looking at comic books. Again, because that illustrative quality, I really love like definition in the features, defined brows, very thin but long. I like that kind of exaggerated, like feminine quality. I like aligned lip. I like aligned eye. I like, I like an outline. You know what I mean? So comic books and old comics for sure. I should do videos on this too. Ugh. Usually I'm trolling the internet, not trolling, but like I'm trawling maybe. I'm hunting. I'm on a little pirate's hunt on the internet. I look up like 90s supermodels. Definitely, I mean, of course, old TV shows too. Old TV shows that are so good for makeup inspiration are like old Aaron Spelling TV shows. So like I had never watched this before, and I ended up watching reruns in the last like year or so with my mom, and I was like, oh my God, The Love Boat, all the extras, style inspo for days. Incredible. Charlie's Angels, incredible. So yeah, those are really what I'm looking for. Instagram, recently the makeup artists on Instagram that I've really loved have been Sophia Sinel doing the Zara Larson looks. But yeah, maybe I'll do a video on like different books and like in my collection and different movies that like make me feel really inspired, but that's just a smattering. What do I hope to see less of in makeup's future? I know that like a thing that we like is like people who have really strong opinions and like rigid ideas and rules, like it's supposed to be this way and this is how you glow up, and like you have to use primer on your eyes or else your eyeshadow won't work and all this stuff. And it's just like anybody who's saying like you're doing your makeup to anything, you're doing it wrong, you aren't wearing enough, you are wearing too much, it's too colorful, you're too old to do this, you're too young to do this. Maybe in certain instances, I don't know if you're too young to do this, I just think that is like so boring. I think it's like borderline rage bait. I think it was rage bait before we had any term for rage bait. So like, yeah, like, I don't know, those kind of things I'm like, ugh, God. Immediately I get irritated. What do I hope to see more of in makeup's future? More multi-use things, more creativity. I'm already contradicting myself because I'm like, I love a point of view, but I mean, I love artists talking about their inspiration, I think that's also a reason why I love collections or like a palette or something. I love knowing what is on an artist's mind, what they're thinking of, what they're inspired by, and not afraid to like use products in the quote wrong way. I'm starting to get back into that myself. I think I'm ready to like step out of the box a little bit in terms of how I use things, just use things in the way that I want and not think about it so much like right or wrong. Expand the creativity, you know? And that's it. Okay, I think I did. I don't think I skipped any questions. If it's only 20 questions, that would be hilarious. But this is what we got, people. And I think, talked for roughly 2.5 hours. So I'm going to end it here. Thank you so much. This was a joy to also... Yep, here we go. This is a joy to do this video, and thank you, Allie, for coming up with this all those years ago. I'm so glad that I gave myself the permission to participate in it now, and I have had a great time thinking about these things and talking to you about them. Let me know, in particular, what inspires you with makeup? Like, where do you get your makeup inspiration? I love that question, and I love how many ideas that has sparked off within me now that I've thought about it. So in the comments down below, please let me know, where do you get your makeup inspiration? All right. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. All right. Bye. I just ended that like a phone call. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.